hearing me. I really want to use this opportunity to tell the world what I'm going through. Depression is real. I'm under Durex because of life experience. So it all started in my secondary school. When I was done with secondary school, so I sat for GCE. So I met a guy called Stanley. He had a problem with English. So he sat down for the same exam. But apparently, he's from a wealthy family. I just want to have my O level since I didn't make my WAEC. So that shows that we've come a very long way. So along the line, after the exam, we were so close. I and Stanley were so close that if I didn't tell you that we're not brothers, nobody would believe. We were so close. In fact, a time came, I used to go to their house. I sleep in their house. I was just like a son to the mother, then like him, like a brother. That's how close we are. Even my family also knows him properly too. We share everything that we have. Shoe, clothes, trouser, everything. So after 1 year, Stanley got admission into the university. Like I said, it was from a noble home, a wealthy family. I knew definitely that my parents are not capable of training me in university, so I didn't bother, but I just want to have my O level, should in case of anything. So that was where I and Stanley met. So after 1 year, Stanley got admission and entered the university. So life was very hard for me because most times it was the one that used to sustain me. I used to go to their house for survival, eat, drink. In fact, we were so close that one of his sister got married. I was the one that did the best man because the actual best man messed up. So the next person they could think of was me. That shows how close we are. So when Stanley got into the university, I was so happy for him because it's part of my dream also to go to university, to be a degree holder. But life and nature, I can't blame my background. I just have to work hard. So, but I was so happy for Stanley. So after year 2, he invited me over to his school. That was the first time I got into university. I was so happy, like a part of my dream. So sometimes I will stay with him in the hostel. Sometimes we'll go to lecture together, but I wasn't part of the students. The relationship was so cordial and strong. But I told myself that I can't be doing this for long. I need to start something for myself. So I told Stanley that I need to look for a job. So I got a menial job, like one of these factory jobs. So I started working in the factory to raise money. So before you know what was happening, I got one of my colleagues, they were just talking about Schengen visa. So I got interested. So along the line, I told Stanley my plan. I said, see, I would like to save up money to travel to abroad. He told me that, yeah, that's a very good plan. Since my parents doesn't have money to train me in university, I just believe that my father have tried, I know I'm not from a noble home. So now I'm done with secondary school. I have my freedom. What do I want to do with my life? I can't keep blaming my background. So while I was working in the factory, I met this couple of guys. They were just talking about Europe, Schengen visa. So I got interested and they hooked me up with how to send money from Europe to Nigeria
things
online.
if they happen, I believe me and you will learn for this our brother story. No, we hear and finish, my people.
About Europe, Schengen visa. So I got interested and they hooked me up with one of this chairman. This is somebody that used to sponsor people abroad legitimately. But the problem is that when you get there, they will seize all your documents until you were able to work and pay back everything, all the expenses they spent on you. So Stanley was the only person I could talk to. And while I was talking to him, he discussed the same thing with his mom. So the mom called me over just like a son. Like I told you, I and Stanley were very close. So the mom called me and said, fine, that you need to hear from me even his mom, everybody has been longing to hear from me because since I traveled, no feedback, nothing. So they collected my phone, everything, my passport, until so they just got work for me. And the next thing was the agreement was that okay, already before I left Nigeria, they already told us the do's and don'ts that when we get there, they will seize all our papers, our documents, but they will get job for us as soon as we pay the money. In fact, it was ×2 of what they spent on us.
And you will pay.
Yeah, so that was the agreement. I was desperate. It was for me. It's better because I tell people there's no how abroad will be so bad that Nigeria will be better than abroad. That's my orientation. So when I got there, I was fine. So I could not contact Stanley. But after 3 months, I was able to. We were into each other. So I got a phone. I called Stanley. We spoke. He was so happy to hear from me. So he told his mom that I called him. Then the mom too contacted me. We were talking. Sometimes the woman would pray for me. But I thank God, after 1 year plus, 1 year and 6 months in abroad, things changed for me. So I started sending money home. I started sending my sister's things. I would tell Stanley to go to the port with my sister. The goods I sent, So I was doing that. But along the line, after Stanley graduated from school, it wasn't working because I actually placed him on salary. We were so close, like he was the only brother that I had. So I placed Stanley on salary every day, every month, monthly. I will send him a particular money every month. At least if the least I send to him is 100,000, that's the least in naira. Sometimes if I send goods, I will tell him that, okay, there are some foreign currency that is hidden in so package that he should go change the money, pay this money to my account, take this one, give the mom this, So it was so much that even the family, the mom was always calling me that, thank you, I saw what you sent from abroad. Are you getting me?
Yes.
So one day, there was this girl I was, we were together. So you're friends with benefits, Sha. Stanley knows about the girl. She has assisted me too, and because I don't have money and I wasn't thinking about marriage, but I just told Stanley that I like the girl. So while in abroad, I was just hearing 1 or 2 rumors that Stanley and this girl are going out together. I don't want to believe it because this was somebody who knew how close I and this girl used to be. So, based on abroad life, I said, no, this should just be a rumor. Before you knew what was going on, the same person that was giving me this information told me that this thing, my girl, she was pregnant for Stanley. I could not believe my eyes. Now, I don't want to talk to Stanley because I used to work in a gas company over there in abroad, forklift engineer. So the work is so tedious, and in abroad now we don't have time. It's always hustling. But at the same time, I was just thinking in my head, how could Stanley do such a thing to me? It was so much that I don't want to talk to him. Sometimes if his mom called me, I would not want to pick the call because the person that is giving me this information cannot lie to me. Understand? So, but a time came where I tried to observe what was happening was that same girl, she only contacts me when she needs money. That's the only time she called me.
So when you travel out, you are still chatting with the girl?
Yeah, we were talking. We were keeping in touch. In fact, I used to send her money. But after I got the information that she and Stanley are having 1 or 2, the conversation reduced. So the only time she tell me hi or she check on me is if she needs something. I saw that our conversation started dropping. I don't want to ask Stanley if truly my girlfriend was pregnant for you. I don't want to ask that question because I knew definitely I will still come back to Nigeria, but I need to sort myself. I need to secure myself in abroad first. So along the line, God was so merciful. I came back to Nigeria and I found out that my girlfriend was not just staying with Stanley, but they had issues, and this girl traveled to the village because Stanley did not marry her as promised. So when Stanley knew that I was in town, like I just got back to Nigeria, Stanley came to my house. He was so happy to see me. And I told him that, okay, see, there's this car that I shipped in, though I didn't process it on time. Are you getting me? So I said, okay, fine. So get me a clearing agent so that we'll go to Wharf and clear this particular car. I had a vision, a plan for him. I said, okay, maybe all the time I'm going to stay in Nigeria, if I could not sell the car, I will give it to Stanley. Maybe he will be using it for Uber or one or two. At least the money I'm sending to him will stop depending on me. Though Stanley is like a brother to me, that's just it. And his family have really tried for me. But if I look at what they have done for me and what I've done for them too, it's more equivalent to each other. But like I said, I don't want it to look as if I'm now big. I'm ungrateful. So I asked Stanley, I confronted him and I said, this is what I'm hearing. Is it true?
My people, since they happen, hey, wahala, best friend.
And I said, this is what I'm hearing. Is it true? To my greatest surprise, Stanley said yes, that he's sorry. He said, but I never told him that I wanted to marry this girl, that he knows that I wasn't serious with this girl. I said, yes. I wasn't thinking about marriage because I knew then when I was in Nigeria, things was very hard for me. Because most times I do go to their house, I will stay 1 week, all in the name of surviving. Stanley, of all the girls, why is it that is this particular one that I have interest? Why is it this one? Okay, now you did not marry her, you got her pregnant. Stanley started begging me, a time came, the mom called me.